Okay students, so in this part we are going to study Hall effect. Hall effect was observed in 1879 by Edwin Hall. He has observed this effect 18 years before the discovery of electrons. The application of Hall effect is to find the nature of semiconductor, whether it is an n-type or p-type. It also helps in finding out the carrier concentration, conductivity and the mobility of the charge carriers. So let's start. Okay students, so now let us study Hall effect. Hall effect. Hall effect says that if a current carrying semiconductor is placed in a transverse magnetic field. Okay, so if a current carrying semiconductor is placed in a transverse magnetic field B, then electric field is induced in the perpendicular direction of current as well as magnetic field. Okay, the applications of Hall effects are as to find the nature of semiconductor, that is whether the semiconductor is p-type or n-type, to find the carrier concentration, to find the conductivity and the mobility of the electrons. Okay, all right. So these are the applications, few applications of the Hall effect, right? So now let us see how to determine the carrier concentration and the mobility using the experiment. Okay, so let us assume we are having a semiconductor bar. It may be either p-type or n-type. Okay, and a current is flowing through it. Okay, so current is flowing through it. Now let us assume a magnetic field is applied in the direction perpendicular to the current. So this is the current direction and this is the direction of magnetic field. So an electric field will be induced in it. One more thing, whenever the current and magnetic field are present, then a force acts on the charge carriers and the force is perpendicular to both of them and is determined using the right hand thumb rule. So the force will be in the back direction. So if a semiconductor device is placed in this way, so force will be in the from front to back side. Okay, so this force will be pushing the charge carriers towards the back of the semiconductor. Fine. So now let us assume that a semiconductor is a n-type. So if a semiconductor is n-type, then the majority of the charge carriers will be electron. So electron will be in the excess at the back surface due to the force. Okay, and the surface becomes the negatively charged with respect to the front. Okay, so this gives the potential difference and called as the Hall voltage. So if we see in the previous slide, so this is the Hall voltage. Hall voltage is the voltage between these two sides. Fine. So now there are excess of mobile charge carriers at the back and the excess of opposite charge due to impurity atom at the front. Now let us consider the semiconductor is a p-type. Okay, so if a semiconductor is a p-type, that means a majority of charge carriers are through holes, right? So hole will be in the excess at the back surface due to the force applied from the front to the back side, and the surface becomes positively charged with respect to the front, and thus the polarity of hole voltage will be in the reverse direction. Okay, at equilibrium, if we see in case of equilibrium, the force exerted on electrons due to electric field and magnetic field must balance each other. Okay, so we know that there is a magnetic field as well as the electric field. At equilibrium condition, they will be balancing each other. Okay, so that means we can say that the force due to electric and the magnetic field, the sum of these two will be equal to 0. Right? Now we know that the electric force is equals to NQE, while the magnetic force is equals to B dot J. So the sum of these two will be equal to 0. So from here we can find it out the value of electric field. This will be equal to minus J by NQ. And the Hall resistance, okay, Hall resistance is equals to minus 1 by NQ. Okay, this is the Hall resistance. So we can replace the value of 1 by NQ by RH, and we can say that the electric field will be equals to BJRH. Okay, RH is a Hall resistance or a Hall coefficient. So Now we know that electric field can be written as a voltage divided by the distance between the front and the back surface. Okay, and the current density is given by current by area, and area we can write as distance between the two surface and the thickness multiplied by thickness. Okay, so T is the thickness of the semiconductor bar we have assumed in our experiment. Now, since we know that the electric field is equals to Bj into Rh, so we can replace electric field by Vh by d, okay, J by I by dt, and Rh by 1 by Nq. Fine. So from here we can cancel out the d and d, and we can find the value of Vh. It will come out to be Bi by Nqt. And from here the value of N, that is the concentration, comes out to be equal to Bi by Vhqt. So therefore if it consider a p-type semiconductor, then the whole concentration will be given by this formula. Okay, and the Hall resistance or the Hall coefficient is given by plus 1 by Nq. Okay, similarly we can find for the N-type semiconductor as well. Okay, so we have in the previous slide we have find it out the formula to find the concentration of electrons or holes, right? Now let us see how to find the mobility, okay, having the concentration known to us. So the electrical, since we know that the electrical conductivity of an extrinsic semiconductor, so if it is an N type, then it is equals to Nq mu N, and if it is a P type, then it is equals to Pq mu P. Okay, so the conductivity and the Hall coefficients will be given by this formula. So the mobility can be written, so from here we can derive the mobility. Mobility will be equal to conductivity divided by N into Q, and 1 by Nq is equals to Hall coefficient, right? So similarly for P type also we can write the formula of a mobility. So we can also derive the mobility of the semiconductor. Okay, so we have seen how to determine the concentration as well as the mobility of a semiconductor material. Now let us solve the example and let's see how much we have gained, right? So first question is, the measurement of Hall coefficient enables the determination of a type of conductivity and concentration of charge gauges, temperature coefficient and thermal conductivity, both A and B, none of the above. See, if you see option B, temperature coefficient and thermal conductivity, we cannot determine the temperature coefficient as well as the thermal conductivity having the Hall coefficient known to us. Therefore B cannot be answered. Therefore C will not be the option, right? So yeah, but we have seen that we can determine the type of conductivity as well as the concentration. Right now we have seen in our previous slides. So therefore the Hall coefficient enables us for the determination of type of conductivity and the concentration of charge carriers. Okay, so we can so the answer for this question will be option A. Now another example. In a Hall effect experiment, a p-type semiconductor sample with Hall concentration of P1 is used. The measured value of the Hall voltage is Vh1. Okay, so we are having a p-type semiconductor and the concentration, this is a p-type, and the concentration of holes is P1 and the Hall voltage generated is Vh1. Okay, now if a p-type sample is now replaced by another p-type sample, so we are replacing it by another same p-type p-type sample. Okay, now the Hall concentration P2, we have doubled it. Now the P2 Hall concentration for the another p-type sample is equal to twice of P1. So what is the new Hall voltage? Vh1. We have to determine the Hall voltage for the next another p-type sample. We know that the Hall voltage is inversely proportional to the concentration. Okay, this we have seen from the formula that Hall voltage is inversely proportional to the concentration. So Vh2 divided by Vh1 will be equal to P1 by P2. Okay, and the P2 is given to us is equals to twice of P1. This will become half, right? So we can, from here we can say that the Hall voltage of the the replaced PN junction p-type sample, that is Vh2, this will be equals to half of VH1. So from here, if you see the options, so option C satisfies this question. Therefore, C is the correct answer for this question. Okay students, so in this part we have studied Hall effect and Hall experiment. We have seen that using the Hall experiment we can determine the carrier concentration and the mobility of the semiconductor bar. We have also seen how to determine the type of semiconductor placed in an experiment. Now the chapter is incomplete without solving the questions on it. So therefore in the next part we are going to solve some previous year IIT JEE questions on this chapter. So stay tuned with us.